Welcome to the biggest surf report of the year. This is Chris McCleary, NationalDreamCenter.com, looking for the biggest collective influence that might be affecting the way you think, feel, and behave. I am not kidding you, biggest surf report of the year, because not only do we have winter solstice tomorrow. This is being recorded on the 20th, so 21st, we've got the shortest day of the year, and then a day later at 11:46 a.m. on Saturday, that's Central Time, full moon. Let's break this all down. And how do I get to the DreamBot? DreamBot, look at this. It's really cool. You've got important, higher, and vital. It's like there's like an ascension process in the red. King, staircase, flight, crucial, living, landing, shown, impression, serious, identity. It is definitely higher. We have climbing, we have extremely, we have leading, impression. It's big. And then the top word, king. So very obvious about the idea that either we personally or we as a collective are having a moment of increased clarity, increased mentality. And look at this. The blue is, hey, this is the past. Excuse me. This is the past. I've paid my dues yesterday. Dirty, empty, fairly, last second payment. This is past, and I've paid my dues. Okay, so what's happening here? I've got two astrologies slideshows because of these two big events. So tomorrow you can see this is the winter solstice happens as the sun goes into Tropical Capricorn, and that is actually later in the evening or early evening, 5:23 p.m. Central Time. And that's when the North Pole is going to be the furthest away from where the sun is. So the sun is at the shortest daylight time of the year. And so in astrological folklore, we are sacrificing ourselves. The sun is dead. And 3 days later, thereabouts, Christmas rising again. So that was according to Bill Donahue. Look up Bill Donahue. Love that stuff. All right. But we have some, I mean, if that wasn't enough, I mean, that's enough, but we've got a lot of other important things happening. Namely, this chart is made for about 11 to 11:30 a.m. On the 21st, on the winter solstice. We have a conjunction. This is only happening once every couple of years. It's happened a couple times this year because Mercury went retrograde. But this is the last time it's going to go conjunct with Jupiter until about 2 years from now. And that conjunction is very optimistic. It's happy. It's good fortune. It's generous and open-minded. And if you want contracts signed, if you want negotiation, today is your day to do it. Now, that's not even all. We have Venus trine Neptune, which is very romantic. It's about daydreaming. That's the Neptune part of it. Relaxation, service to others is the Venus part. Spiritual connections. Spiritual being the Neptune, connections being the Venus. Entertaining, amusement. So just a wonderful, and it's a trine. So it's a very positive, optimistic arrangement there all the way around. As the sun goes into Capricorn, starting to feel a little bit more grounded, practical. The influence is having you set some goals. But okay, so I'm going to cover the sidereal first, and you're going to see how it all rolls together. And we all know that in order to maximize the influence, we have to get in line with the stars. So what's happening here is everything's influenced into what looks like more air than anything else. The spiritual connections is very Libra, and romance and relaxation, service to others. And then in the conjunction is also the same. It's open-minded. It's very generous. Open-minded being more Aquarius, but air signs in general. And lo and behold, Venus and Neptune have their trine in air signs. So to get in line with the stars tomorrow, it's about air signs, and you're going to bring out the most thoughtful parts of you, loving the abstract, reason, being fun-loving, being adventurous, being clever, harmonizing. But we all have to promise to minimize the negative effects and negative possibilities of air signs, which are racing thoughts. If you have those, then I would get grounded. And look at that. We've got Sun going into Capricorn, so you're going to have that influence. If you have racing thoughts, ground yourself. Overanalyzing. If you start noticing yourself being aloof, notice that with other people today, the relationships are harmonized. So get out there and have your connections. That's on the 21st, and that's winter solstice. Then the next day is the full moon at 11:46 a.m. Central Time, but that's not the only influence either. So you've got the moon opposing the sun, and those are right on the lines there, just inside of Capricorn on the sun side, and just inside Cancer on the moon side. But then you have a sextile between Moon and Uranus, and that is that's a humdinger, but it's a positive, optimistic sort of arrangement, alignment, and you really need to be openness. It's going to influence you to be open to certain changes. But here's the key. In this full moon, it is about a remarkable change. Remember, we just had the winter solstice. And so this is about, archetypically with Carl Jung and the collective unconscious, it is about sacrificing. Sacrificing what? Well, in this case, sacrificing the past. Anytime you have Uranus, you have to sacrifice the past because it's coming in like a bulldozer and changing the events. And this is a wonderful time because at the same time, we've got this full moon. Moon there is to suck away the energy that you give it. It's not sucking away all your energy. It's what you purposefully sacrifice. And you want to be sacrificing the past. Bring all that out and have a ceremony. Have maybe a bonfire, maybe a one of those little Chinese lights, and you put your past in there and watch it float away. You can do it with balloons, just very ceremonial. You can have a little meditation with an altar around with some essential oils and diffusing, or a hot bath with certain essential oils in there to suck away at that full moon, ideally. But you've got some leeway. You got about 24 hours to get the majority of that influence. And that's what it's all about. Now, to align with the stars, again, is very curiosity and openness is of the Gemini, because we got the moon here and it's got two connections. So the emphasis is over here in Gemini. We're still in the air. Guys, and gals, the influence this whole weekend, or at least starting up to the early part of the weekend, is all about the air signs. In particular on the 22nd, so the full moon, you want to be more Gemini. You want to bring out your sharp and quick intellectual information. You want to be eager and curious, especially about what Uranus is going to change for you, or what the universe is expecting you to change. Curious about ideas, very adjustable, versatile, enthusiastic. But remember, we always want to minimize the risks of Gemini is start lecturing instead of talking. We got to remember that Geminis can be a little bit too opinionated. And when they start getting negatively opinionated, they might start burning some bridges. Don't be caught being a know-it-all, lack of direction in your life. Just remain focused there. And but the main things are eager and curious, adjustable, versatile, and enthusiastic. You might even throw some Gemini humor and wit in there. And this is going to be an amazing time, both tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday for the full moon. Make it simple. If you want to just do all air signs for the solution for these next couple days, I think you'll do great in that. Unless, the only caveat, unless you're starting to experience too much of that air energy. For me, Gemini, Aquarius, I've got a lot of air signs in me. So I run the risk of too much air. And so I'll be watching out for that. And if I do see that, then I'm going to ground myself. How do I do that? Open up my 5 senses, experience the physical material world. For those of you in earth signs, it's a lot harder to get out of that 5 senses and get more into the mind and more into curiosity and openness. That's one of the hardest areas for the earth signs. Water. Are you even still with me? Yeah, that's kind of the same thing, is getting out of the emotions. And for the water signs, getting out of the emotions into the mind is very difficult, because emotions can be very, very sticky and thick. And for all of us, mind causes emotions, not necessarily that direction. It's both directions. But especially for water signs, the thoughts are going to fuel those emotions. So that's going to be the hard part for you guys. And of course, fire, air feeds the fire. So you're going to probably have the next highest risk of having just racing thoughts, a lot of anxiety, and just sporadically wanting to go somewhere and not knowing really where. So if you're in that position, then you also need to stop, slow down, experience the world, get into your 5 senses, touch things, smell things, see things, taste things. All right. So this is a remarkable time period. Lots of beautiful energy to really change your life around. So make the most of it. Oh, let me show you my what I'm going to be posting to Instagram and Facebook tomorrow. Is this is the winter solstice. It's hardly white here in Arkansas, but it might be white where you are. But the point is, sun much lower on the horizon, only to rise again after 3 days. All right, that's a wrap, and I'm going to be experimenting more with the live updates. Just hang with me, and we'll get through that. Eventually, the plan is to do live YouTube, live Facebook, and live Instagram all at the same time. I'm working on it. I'm just got to finish up all these business things, and so probably by the end of the year, be doing that just fine. Hey, take care, guys. I know this is a long one. Sorry about that, but really important CIRF report. Thanks for hanging with me. Have a great winter solstice and full moon. We'll talk to you Sunday night.